What if I told you that everyone in this entire world has an attachment style? Now, if you don't know what that is, yes, it is regarding towards relationships. But what if I told you that the way you show up in your relationships is how you show up in your own life for yourself? Now, there's 3 different attachment styles. You have the anxious style, you have the avoidant style, and you have the secure style. What's crazy about this is that you combine all of these, but even though this is regarding relationships, I'm gonna dive deep in today into explaining to you how the way your relationships display how you show up for it, it really displays how you do everything else in your life. Let's get lost. What is going on, you beautiful souls? My tummy hurts, so I'm trying to lift up the mood. Other than that, happy Monday, you beautiful beings. I am hoping that you guys set an intention to have a blissful day. And if you don't feel that way, understand the way you feel is okay, boo-boo. Feel your feelings because they ain't you. But other than that, if you're new to this channel, welcome. My name is Brittany Fontenez. What I do on this channel, I speak about spirituality with compassion, emotional awareness with love. I do guided readings for each zodiac sign, and I talk about things that need to be talked about that aren't talked about because I believe it's our divine right to know more than what we've been told. Now, this is a very interesting concept that my higher self was like, Britt, you're going to do a video on this. I was like, okay. I only say okay because attachment styles, pretty much where I got this, and not even an analogy, this understanding, is from a book called Attached. Now, like I said, it's regarding relationships, how people show up in relationships. Like you have the anxious person who's probably always the chaser. And then you have the avoidant person who's probably always the runner. And then you have the secure person who's like secure in themselves, secure in who they are and what they want. Like I said, you could combine these. You have avoidant secure, like sometimes I could be, and then you got anxious secure, sometimes I could be. And I'm just like anxious avoidant, and I'm like, oh Lord. But the reason why I feel why I need to talk about this in this certain dynamic, how it relates towards yourself, is because we have to understand how we got the concept of love very distorted. Meaning that we were taught love in a very toxic manner through television, through TV, through movies and all this stuff. To the point that what I mean by a toxic way, it's more of the fact that when you watch movies, people are always fighting, people are always making up, people are always being toxic, you know, and we think that is love. Don't get me wrong, I'm a believer in fairy tales. Oh, trust me, this whole universe was made out of magic. I definitely believe in fairy tales, and especially love stories. But the thing is, the whole point of why we need to be aware, not only through relationships, but how we show up. Because little do you know, every relationship you have in your life is really showing a reflection of how you show up for yourself in your life. And here's the crazy part too. What if I told you that the relationships that you interact with, not just love relationships, your friendships with your parents, what if I told you it all is reflecting pretty much the dynamic relationship you had with your parents when you were younger? So pretty much how you were treated when you were younger and how you feel about your parents really does ripple out into your adulthood, into your friendships, and into your love life. Now, let me get into the anxious style. Anxious, like I said at the beginning, it's about someone always being the chaser, someone always fixated on something that they want to be a part of because they feel left out. Now, that right there, the anxious style, I believe it stems from sorry, I'm like so confused with my cat. He's doing some weird stuff. But the anxious style always stems from an abandonment wound. And hence, that's where you create codependency. Now think about this. Someone who has an abandoned wound, I had one myself. And I have codependency. Like, for example, you guys, yesterday I recently got closure with someone I was in love with. You know, it just couldn't work. It couldn't work. I had done some wrong things in it. And I would believe that I take responsibility for the fact that maybe I was the reason why it didn't work out. But other than that, when I got that closure, all of a sudden I got that feeling again, that anxious, codependent feeling, to the point I started to get anxiety. And I'm like, whoa, I haven't felt this in a long time since talking to this person. And now that I actually got that closure, it's like something came up and it felt like I'm losing out on something. And that's when I realized, wow, how do I show up in my life the way that I feel about this? And it dogged on me. That's where I came up with this concept, this video today, where, I'm so fixated on a relationship, but I'm not even showing up for myself. It's like I'm abandoning myself. My abandonment wound pretty much is displaying how I was treated as a child, and now I'm treating myself that way. You see what I'm saying? And so it's like we seek to feel important. And I realize that really comes from me not being able to focus on myself. Now let's get into avoidance style. I used to be an avoidance style too, where I would avoid certain people and brush them off because intimacy was a little bit scary. Getting close was a little bit scary. And here's why. It's because I had an issue with trusting. All of us have these certain issues regarding trust and commitment. But here's the thing, it's not just regarding relationships, because you could have someone in the relationship who's the runner, who's scared, like I said, of intimacy and getting close. What if I told you that some of us really reflect that avoidance within ourselves, meaning that sometimes if we run away from a relationship, what if we're running away from ourselves? It all kind of goes together. The avoidant and the anxious style. It all comes together. But the avoidance style is like someone who run away from relationships. But what if, are you running away from yourself? Are you not showing up in your life? Can you not keep a job? Are you not committed to your goals and to your dreams or even to your routine? You see how this ripples out? So it's like what we try to make up in a relationship is what we have yet to organize within our own life. And this is why it's so important to understand your attachment style, because it's not only about relationships, it's about the relationship you have with yourself. Now, this is where we get into the secure style of the attachment style, even though it's not really attachment. Secure is when people who don't want to be in a relationship, they feel secure with themselves. Like me, I finally got to a point when I'm okay being alone. And that took some work, you guys. That took a lot of work to realize my attachment styles. But here's the thing of how you can allow yourself to step more into a secure attachment style by realizing I'm just as important as how much importance I put on another person. So if you tell yourself that, all right, now how can you bring it more focused on yourself? Because most of the time, when we're anxious and we're avoidant, all we're doing is running away from ourselves. All we're doing is running away from what we want. And that's how we create sabotaging. And that's how we start being controlling. And all of a sudden, it's just like, it becomes so complex. But to become more secure is by one, realizing how you operate. Realizing how you feel. Not just in a relationship. How do you feel towards other people? How do you feel about yourself? Do you feel secure? Or do you feel like, oh my God, there was something that came to my mind. Anyhow, it'll come back when it needs to. But, oh, there it is. Do you have any regrets? Because majority of the time when we're running away from ourselves, we have a lot of regrets, we have a lot of worries, we have a lot of scarcity. And this is why we create a lot of attachments on the outer world, because it's hard to face ourselves and get ourselves into a place where we feel secure. So the best way to feel secure in your life to the point that it will ripple out into your relationships to have a more healthy, secure, mature relationship. The way to feel more secure is by you got to be aware of what makes you believe that you're not important. And I know this sounds so egotistical, so narcissistic, so selfish, but let's be honest. What you don't take care of on the outside, what you don't take care of on the inside, you attract on the outside. So we have to be honest with ourselves. Am I blaming because I'm projecting? Or am I trying to fix people and chase after them because I don't want to face myself? It's hard to be honest with yourself about these type of things. But if you want to be more secure, you have to be there for you. You have to cultivate the truest relationship you can ever be a part of, and that's one with yourself. And the best ways to start doing this is, you guys, I do mirror work. And man, my mirror work has been getting a lot more fun. And I say that because before it was like a chore to me. But now I go in the mirror and I just be like, I look at myself like my own homie. I'd be like, yo, what up, bro? What up, boo? How you doing? Oh, damn, you look so sexy. Stop glowing. Stop looking so... Have fun with yourself. You guys, it took me a long time to have fun because I grew up having a childhood. Not having a childhood, actually. I had to grow up so quickly. To the point that I felt like I had no control as a kid, and that's how we feel. So when we get older, we want to control everything because that makes us feel safe, and that makes us believe that I'm gonna prevent this from happening again. And that's how we start making very toxic decisions within friendships and relationships, and it's because we haven't really faced ourselves yet. So to feel secure is do mirror work, do breath work, do meditations. Here's the best thing I do. I literally get my notebook and I sit in front of the mirror and I ask myself, and I sit with my feelings. Why do I feel I need to be attached to this person? Why am I so fixated on what other people are doing and comparing myself? Why is it that I don't feel confident, you know? I ask myself these hard questions because here's the thing. When they say you have all the answers, you do. Your soul, your heart, your being holds the catalyst, holds the power that divine lives within you. And the only way to tap into that is by questioning what is preventing the very thing to make you feel connected to yourself. So please understand, everything I just shared, yes, you know what? Here's a good idea that might help you. Look at your relationships and how do you show up in them, and how do people show up to you? And if you see a pattern, a habitual pattern, a repeating pattern within each relationship you ever had, even friendships, even the relationship you have with your parents, ask yourself, why is the reason this happens all the time? Why am I always attracting the same type of thing all the time? The more you can contemplate and question and become more aware, the more you'll be able to tap into the root of why all this exists. So my beautiful souls, I hope this assists you in understanding how to show up more for yourself and understanding that we're all in pain and we're all hurting and we all want to feel connected to that love that makes us feel secure and whole, not just with someone else, but with ourselves. You know, I really hope that this video gave you enough clarity to realize how important you are to yourself. Because if you don't see the blessing that you are, you will never be able to see the blessings on the outside world and how to treat them the way that you want to be treated. So it's so important to realize what has hurt you and what have you tolerated to continuously hurting yourself to think you deserve that, so you can realize what is it that my heart really needs rather than from what I'm predicting that I think I need. Because there's a huge difference with knowing what you need and thinking you want something. So again, I really hope this helped you guys. I'm really excited to do the video on Wednesday. I'm going to get into guilt and shame. I really want to get into these emotional patterns because I feel that the more we can understand our emotions, because even though the thoughts create our emotions, emotions create our actions or they create our stagnation. So I want to get more into understanding our emotions because they'll give you the capability to understand who you are and how to understand yourself on such a deep level where you have immense unconditional love for who you are, to the point you go out in the world and you just want to love on everything and everyone. Not because you're trying to be positive, it's because it's like you are the one who can change the way you see things. So change the way you see things. So those very things can change. So other than that, my beautiful beings, I love you guys so much and I really hope this video helps. Other than that, you guys, I will see you on the next one and have a blissful day and namaste.